there, yarn lovers, it's Gary and I'm coming to you from my happy place, the Yarn Corner here on the west coast of Canada. So welcome on this Sunday, October the 6th, I believe it is, I don't know, 2024. I am doing things a little bit out of order in this video because I'm pre-recording it and I'm going to be dropping it on October 15th or thereabouts, 2024. So it is a very special time. And it is the channel's Pod-a-versary. So on October the 15th, back 5 years ago, I pressed the button and decided to film my very first very awkward videos. So that's a day that I celebrated, and I am happy to say we have hit 5 years. So I have a special introduction here to the cake that I normally buy a cake every October the 15th or thereabouts to celebrate the years. Last year I missed out, so I thought I wasn't going to miss out this year. So I've got the opening of the cake, then I'm going to go into record a little later down the week on my 5 favorite things, and that will be a combination of several things over the lifespan of the channel, as well as my journey in the yarn crafts. So if you're happening across this channel for the very first time, I want to welcome you. I set this channel up to talk about all of my yarny adventures. That's in knit, crochet. I also talk about my acquisitions, where I purchased my yarn and my tools and my craft. So if that's of interest, please stick around for this very special edition of the podcast, or the channel. So I'm going to move the camera down. We'll take a look at what I've got to unveil or unbox. In this instance, it's not yarn. So here we go. The Fabulous Chocolates is a cake and confectionery place where they bake and they make chocolates, and they're really well known in the area that I live in. So I got myself a decadent chocolate cake. So let's take a look at what it is. Unravel. Really super exciting. I'm just going to cut this ribbon because it's going to take too long to get that knot undone. Here we go. Okay, so this year, because it's around Halloween, I thought I would get myself an inspiration decorated cake with Halloween pumpkin. So here it is here. Happy 5th year, Urban Yarn. So me and Chad are gonna dig into that and come around. If you're in the neighborhood for a piece of cake, I know that it's quite a small piece, but this is just to say thank you and to celebrate all of the support that I've received here on the Yarny community and on YouTube. So yay! Well, okay, little sneak peek on what I'm going to be filming in the course of this week and collating all of the edits together is my favorite 5s. I'm going to be picking favorite 5 intros or exits in the past 5 years. Now, a number of people love the intros and love the exits of my videos that I drop. So I'm going to be picking my favorites. I'm going to be asking you a question about that as well. And I will be showing 5 of my favorite makes in crochet and 5 of my favorite makes in knit over the 5 years. Now, these are kind of like going to be hard to pick because I do have quite a number of them that are favorites, but I'll be showcasing those, as well as I purchased a little gift for myself that arrived about a week and a half ago, all the way from Latvia, and it's from a yarn store that I was encouraged to buy this yarn. It's called Woolly, and I will be talking about some yarn that I got in the celebration of the Pod-a-versary, and it is over in Latvia. So I was influenced to try them out by my good friend Crystal over at Bag A Day. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to cut pieces of this cake up and enjoy it this weekend, and I will see you in the next clip when for you it will only be seconds, but for me it might be a few days. So I'll see you then. Bye. Okay, I'm back in the yarn room and it's the next day and I'm ready to talk about my 5 favorite intros from the videos that I have compiled. I was reminiscing over the course of the weekend and collecting some of the raw material on these intros and exits that I put in my videos. So I thought I'd flag the top 5. Now these aren't in any sequence, like in priority. I just put them in from the oldest date up until the most recent, and these are some of my key ones that remind me of some special time in my life or have special things that have happened that I've captured in my intro. So I will show them as raw files at the conclusion of my breakdown so that you'll get to see them, and maybe if you've been around that long as well watching these intros, you might remember with me as well, and just sort of, you know, I'll tell you a little bit about why they're so special. So okay, the earliest version, one that I've picked, is on April 27th that I dropped a video, 2021, and it was on video 107, and it is of my lady statue that I still have now in my new home. But back when I took this video, we used to have her in the bathroom, and I had dressed her up in one of my cobblestone cowls that I had made. Now, all patterns that I mention, I won't mention designers because I'm not going to have, I don't have the notes here of each of the ones that I'm going to mention, but pattern names I do recall, so I've written them here. Well, all of them will be listed down below in the description box, and links available if you want to go ahead and look at any of those, find out some more details on them. So yeah, I chose that one because it was an important time. I was just getting my grounding in YouTube. I think this was one of my first intros that I had done. I realized that I didn't do intros for the first like 80 plus videos, so I'm looking more into almost the full year of recording and posting videos without any intros. So this was one of the very first ones, and I liked it because it featured a piece of work as well that I was happy to explore, and I was discovering crochet techniques. Then I've chosen one here on January the 4th, 2022, and this is video 135. It's of me, Chad, and Muggins, which is a family dog. My in-laws, or Chad's parents' dog. It was a Wheaton Terrier. Her name was Muggins. We were walking in a winter wonderland on a trail that was full of fresh snow, and in the trees, as we were walking, the community had put on all of these wonderful ornate Christmas decorations, and they kind of were topped and sprinkled with snow. I thought it was so magical, and that made my list of favorites as well. Then I've got one here on August the 6th, 2022. I've chosen this video intro from 152. It is of a cruise ship snippet. I was celebrating my 50th, but the trip that we had planned was postponed because it was lockdown, and I had to postpone it for 2 years. And when I was 52, we took a cruise with our 2 good friends and me and Chad, and we were embarking on Harmony of the Seas, which at the time was the 2nd largest ship, and I think there was like 5,000 crew and clientele, travelers that were on the ship, so quite a large ship. And they had their bells and whistles, like a carousel. There were crazy death tantalizing slides that kind of like wrapped around and swung your body around. Not for me, for sure. I don't like adrenaline. So Chad was eager to go down on one of the slides, so I captured him going zhooshing through the clear part of the slide. So that was a pick that I definitely liked because it kind of celebrated a certain part of my age, my life, that was put on hold, and we were eager to get on that ship and do some celebrating. Then I've got one here, April the 11th, 2023, which was from last year. And I've chosen this one in video 181, and it's of a plane taking off at the Vancouver airport. It was on the tarmac. I was in the plane. I was recording the start of my journey, and from my little window on the plane, and you could see me taking off, and I'm embarking on a visit to Illinois to visit two very close friends of mine, Rose from Rose Likes Crochet and Crystal from Bag a Day. So that was a very special time in the channels and my experience. So I had to rate this one as one of my favorite picks as well. And the most recent one that I have here, which will be my 5th one, was on July 25th, and it was 2024. Video 249. It was of Pixel, Chad and myself walking on the trail that is around where we live, and it's along a river. The river was so still like glass that the reflection of the trees on the opposite side of the bank were perfectly aligned in the reflection of the still lake. And Pixel is about a year and a year and 2 months old at the time, so fully grown and super cute, walking in the front of the river bank. And I thought it was just a perfect end to the pick of the most recent favorite of mine. So those are all the ones, and I am going to now compile them in raw files, and you'll see them back to back. So I'll see you back here in less than a minute. Okay, bye. So what did you think? Pretty awesome. I don't know whether you enjoy the little intro and exit snippets. They're like about 10 seconds long. If you do enjoy them, let me know which one was your favorite. I'd love to hear about which one you liked. If you would like to use the word favorite in your comment, and then the video number, if it has a number next to it, then let me know. And yeah, I'd love to read which one you felt. And Pixel's downstairs barking. Next, I'm going to switch gears, and I'm going to talk about my favorite 5 knits and my favorite 5 crochets that I've done over the course of the 5 years that I've been here. Now, there's so many favorites, too many to mention, but I had to, think a bit hard about it, maybe draw some attention to the learns, the ones that kind of like flew off my hook or my needles super quick, the ones that I really enjoyed working with the yarn that I chose, all that wonderful stuff that make the list. So no particular priority here. What I mentioned is not my favorite in any ranking system. It's just ones that I've picked. Now, I won't cite the designer's name. Only if it comes to my mind straight away, I will be able to do that. But I've got just the title of the pattern, and I'll link all the all the other nuances down in the description box. So I'll alternate between my knit and my crochet. And the first one here that I've got is Vertices Unite Shawl. It was my knit pattern. Now I've got it here. I won't be able to show all of the ones that I have as favorites because some of them I've gifted away. And the ones that I don't have, what I might do is try and find some photographs or some footage and add them in between. But I've got this one here. Here we go. I just love this pattern so much. New learns for me along the way, maybe not the best in the joining here along all the seams when I'm picking up stitches, but color exploring and enjoying all these wonderful yarns, blending them together. It was a wonderful make for sure. So that's made my knit faves. Crochet faves. Oh, okay, I got Novella Tom 1, which is a crocheted shawl. If I can find the photograph or the movie clip here of that one, I'll insert it here now and come back and talk to you about why it was that I liked that. So hopefully I've got it to put in. Okay, so if that has screened, then you'll be able to see all the fantastic learns, all the bubble stitches, those extended double crochets or treble crochets that reach down and do a dip into previous rows that have been done and crossing over each other, all of that wonderful stuff. Great learn, and I do love the textures. The yarn as well, I absolutely adored. It was the Muffin Tweed by Stenley, and so it just was a win-win all the way around. My second one that I have here of my knit is the Exploration Station, also a Stephen West. I'm just going to stop the camera because I do see it over there and I can go grab it because it's not too big and I can fit it in this frame. Hang on a moment. Okay, so here it is here. Exploration Station. Look at those colors. Oh, actually, looking at this right now makes me want to do another one because I had so much fun with this. There's a bit of brioche in here, which at the time I was wanting to go back to because I have this inability to retain my skill, my technique. So I think a couple, maybe even a full year went by before I had done brioche. So I had to relearn a little bit along the way. So I absolutely love it. Again, the color work and these wonderful, lovely yarns that I was using made this piece one that stands out in my mind. The next one I have here is the Nature's Walk blanket, which is a crocheted blanket. Now, I am currently working on one right now, but I did do one last year and I gifted it away, but I have a film clip because it's so big. It needs to be presented in kind of like a montage so that you get the sense of the full glory of that piece. So I will stop the camera and insert the video where I show off that wonderful make. Okay, so what did you think? It's a wonderful, wonderful piece. And I'm just hoping that my next iteration, all the colors work just as well as the first time around. Moving on, I am seeing here my next one that I have is my Hey Handsome cardigan. Now I'm going to have to find the film clip for that one because I made this for Chad and I think he has it in his closet in the next room. And I do have some footage of him wearing it. I'll track that down. If I can't track that down and find it, I'll put at least some photographs in so that you could see what it looks like. I was learning a lot of cabling. The yarn was from Briggs & Little, very, very rustic yarn, and it's Canadian, one of the oldest, or maybe one of the oldest in Canada that mills their own yarn. So I really enjoyed that piece, making it a lot. Hopefully you've seen something in the way of some footage or some photographs. Okay, moving right along, I have here it is the, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this, but it's the Rhoiteia. I think it's Rhoiteia shawl, and this is a crocheted shawl that I gifted away and I want to make it again. So I loved working on this. It was teaching me a lot, similar to the Novella Tom, where all of the wonderful textures, there were a lot of bubble stitches in this one as well, lace work. It was a nice thin yarn that I was using, so the piece was quite light and flowy and airy, and I gifted it away. So I will hopefully find a photograph of it, because I know that I did not take footage of it, but I do have photos. So I will raid my photo collection and add that in somewhere here so you can see how wonderful and beautiful it is. Okay, so the next one that I have is another brioche. As I mentioned before, if I don't do a technique for a while, I tend to lose my skill in it. So I want to revisit them again and again. And that's so true with brioche, that this is my next favorite one that I have to show in my knit. And it's called the Zigzag Brioche Cowl. So yeah, I really enjoyed working on this one. So I'll just wear it for you. Just easy to like put on. It's no fuss. I think sometimes the shawls are a bit fussy. That's why one of my favorite things to make is a cowl. And it's no fuss. You put it on, you can put a jacket over the top. I absolutely love this piece. So this is one of my favorites. And the reason why it also was a good make was because of the yarn that I used, which was, both of these were Hobie yarns. And one was the Winter Glow. And the fuzzy one, I believe, was like an alpaca. And it's very fuzzy because I'm starting to eat the fibers. Okay, so the next favorite going to my crochet is the Calm Sea scarf. And this is the Calm Sea scarf here. I was learning to do short row crochet and absolutely thought I had bitten more off than I could handle, but I was worried that I wouldn't be able to get through this. But with some perseverance and some sampling, like doing a little bit of the test strips and watching some videos, I picked it up after my third or fourth go at it. So yeah, I absolutely love this. And one of my favorite yarns as well is used in here. And it is it's either the Blossom Cake or it is, no, it's not the Blossom Cake. It is the Cascadia or Cascadia from Hobby. I absolutely love this one. Yeah, so let me try that one on. I love playing dress up. Okay, so it's around 6 foot, I'm gonna say, in length, enough to wrap around once and then have a decent length of them both dangling. So that was my crochet. The next one I have is knit, and it's my mosaic vest. Another favorite of mine. There it is. It's color work pretty much all throughout. The only thing that's not color work is the banding on the waist, as well as the arm sleeves and neck. All the rest, the back and the front, are color work and lots of slip stitching. I absolutely loved working on this, and I wear it when the weather is quite cold, because this is an alpaca and it's really, really warm to wear underneath a jacket. So I absolutely love this one a lot. Let's take a look. The next one that I have, talking crochet, I have a beanie. This is the Stitch Sampler by Crystal over a Bag a Day, and it's been folded up for a while, so it's got some creasing in it, but I like wearing it. It's a hat that suits, I think, the color of my hair, and the actual material itself blends well, and it's complementary. I do need to redo this pattern again, because I found that it's quite a loose fit for me, so I need to either go down a size in needle, hook halfway down, or watch my tension when I'm kind of like coming around and make it a bit more snug around the brim. So yeah. All right, and I got one here as well for knit, because I know that I said I pick 5, but I wanted to pick this one because I do love this pattern, and it's a hat pattern as well. It's called the Clara hat, and I'm working up another one of these because it's such a lovely color mix, and you can use scrap yarn to finish it off, and it looks wonderful. So this is the one that I'm making right now of the Clara hat. So it's made my list as well, and this is a special make as well, because the yarn that I'm using it's a bit of a novelty yarn, and I have never used a yarn like this before. It's got these bumpy bits throughout. Now, holding it double, but I really love the feel. It's so super soft. And this yarn I got from Temu, and I'm pairing it here with a tweed yarn, which is from Hobby, and it's called Woody Tweed. And those are just working out really nice. Very, very nice indeed. So those are all of my 5 favorite knits and 5 favorite crochet items, with 1 extra knit thrown in, because I do love this pattern a lot. And okay, so that will be it for tonight. I'm going to jump in here on another evening and talk to you about some special yarn that I purchased. Okay, so I'm back here. Another evening has gone by. I'm in different attire, and I'm sporting the orange today. I'm feeling orange. I'm wearing my Bush Tracker beanie, which is a knit pattern that I designed in 2021. I'll link the pattern link down in the description box if you're interested. It is a bulky 5 weight, and I'm holding 2 worsted to make my bulky 5. Really like it, and because we're going to be talking about yarn today, I'm going to tell you a little story about how I found out about this online store. It's called Woolly, and I didn't know about this yarn store until I watched Crystal over a Bag a Day do an unboxing, and they were all on cones, and I thought that was very interesting. I did acquire some coned yarn back I'm going to say 2 years ago now, from a work co-worker of mine who has a grandmother who was downsizing and wanting to get, I guess, rehouse some of her yarn, and they were all on cones. So I think some of those cones that I have are from England. I'll show that in another video, but as I use it up and stuff, and then we can have a look at how it works up and whatnot. But here we go. I've got some yarn from Woolly, which is the online store that I'm talking about, from Latvia. All the currency will be in Euro currency because they are over in the EU. And a little bit of a backstory. I bought this yarn, or made the purchase September the 10th, 2024, and then it was shipped to me. It took around 2 weeks to get to me, so I did receive it around the 24th of September, around that time frame. And let's take a look at it, shall we? Now, the first one that I've got here on my list of things, I'm looking down here because I got my invoice on my screen, is this lovely, where are you? Here. This one here, it all comes individually wrapped with a nice little sticker of Woolly. So you can see the label there. And I have taken a sneak peek at these, so you'll see that they're already ripped. And this is my first one. It's sort of a turquoisey and green marled yarn, and there are 2 fibers, maybe 2 or 3. Let me just pull this apart and take a look. So I'm definitely seeing one of the blue turquoisey, which is made up of, it looks to me to be 2 strands of that turquoise, kind of looking mohair, and then a more of a yellow green style thread, and they're all being twisted together. It's very, very soft, and I'm going to say that that is possibly a DK weight yarn. Would you agree? Softness factor for me, it's lovely and soft. I'm getting a little bit of a prickly sensation, but out of 5 being the most in my scale for softness, and 1 being the rawest of very rustic yarns, this one is rating a 3.5. I'm going to give it a 3.5, and I just love the texture and colors that are in there. Yeah, I absolutely love it. So on this bobbin, I got myself 100 grams, and the breakdown of it is 40% kid mohair, 53% cotton, and 7% polyamide. And the code that I have here, because it doesn't give me a name of the color, but it gives me a code, and it's 130000961. I think that will make a really, really nice, for me, I wouldn't have a problem wearing that against my skin, no issues at all. I could have that in a beautiful brioche cowl, like the one that I mentioned earlier, called the Zigzag Cowl by the Red Heart design team. Absolutely think that that would look great in that design. And the cost of the 100 grams of those wonderful fibers was €7.02. I just love it. Now, the next one that I have on my list is a little interesting, and it is this one here. So I'll just take the paper off it. This one is 82% linen, 18% cotton, and Filati Biagoili Modesto. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's the name of the actual yarn, but it's 82 linen and 18% cotton. This one is a little bit more wiry, more like a jute or some type of string, and it would work well in in my mind as more of a, say, something that you would put to add structure to a piece. So I'm thinking bag, I'm thinking maybe a cushion cover, or if you're thinking more along the lines of giving that denim feel to an item, then perhaps maybe that would work really nicely in a project that had maybe some feature in a jumper that created a pocket or seemed to do some hemming or seam lines around certain aspects of your garments. I think this will work up really nicely as that to give it a bit of structure. So yeah, it's rating for me at a softness. It doesn't really have a soft scale like you would give a yarn, but it's not itchy or prickly by any stretch. And I'm going to give it, I'm going to say a 2.5 to 3 out of 5. So an average feel, and it's not coarse at all. So yeah, I really like that too. It's mild as well. And I'm going to say that that weight of yarn is possibly a fingering to a 2 weight, like a sport. And I can see that that's really twisted well with the pieces of fiber that are running together. So we have it looks to be denim-y, almost a purpley blue. And then in amongst that is more of a orange tan. So together they're giving a vibe of almost a purpley color. Yeah, I like that a lot. So this one is code number 150000502, and I got 100 grams on this cone of it. It doesn't indicate anywhere on these bobbins how many yards or meters that I'm getting, and this was for €5.54. I thought that was a good price to try out. And look how well these two go together. So if I was to do something nice and fluffy and maybe some type of bordering in this one, then it would be kind of like a lacy border or some type of structural border on the edging. Those two would go really nice together. The next one up I have is it's this one here, and it's 70% extra fine merino and 30% cashmere. So let's take a look at this one. So this is extra fine merino and cashmere. Now it doesn't feel like that to me. It feels a little coarser. I do love this color a lot. Look at that. It's really a nice earthy color, and I'm feeling the vibe of olive in here. It's got bits of, it's got like little bits of thicker parts and thinner parts, and there seems to be 2 strands of this that I work up together, I'm assuming. And let's just take a look at those 2 strands. Loosely wound, so there they are there, and they make up this strand here, and it's to me like I'm going to give it a sport weight or a fingering weight. I absolutely love this. So does Pixel, she's barking. So if you're looking for the code for this one, it is 180000618-1, and I purchased this one for €8.02. Softness on this one, I'm going to give it the least softest out of the ones that I have, and I'm going to give this a 2.5 out of 5 for softness. So it's just barely making it. I could wear that against my skin with no itching because I don't have any adverse effect to a woolly type yarn. But yeah, it's got that kind of jute feel as well, like slightly stringy. And maybe these two will be good for the same type of project, I'm thinking. So yeah, I'll work something up and see how it works up. So the second last one that I have here is this one. It's probably my favorite. And I got myself, actually it's probably my second favorite. Got myself 100 grams of this too. And what I'm getting in this one is 56 merino wool, 28% cashmere, and 6% viscose, 10% polyamide. So they've everything in this, like including the kitchen sink. And it is the thickest of the bunch. I'm going to give this one a good 3 weight. It's fuzzy. It has specks of different tones within it. I really like that a lot. There's some darker bits. It's like a raspberry color, a reddish raspberry, and in there I'm seeing specks of a little bit more orangey red, and then darker burnt colors here of like a charcoaly black. So very nice. And for the softness factor of this one, I'm going to give this one a 3.5 out of 5. So it's sitting there above average in softness. And I can see myself making up, if I had a whole bunch of this stuff, a really nice outer garment kind of coat. And it will give that nice warm woolly feel to the coat. Love the color as well. So the number of this one is 18001049. And this one was for €8.02 as well for the 100 grams. Someone's here to say hi. Are you saying hello? Hi, go on to your mat. Go on, good girl. So the last one that I have here is the one that I got 200 grams of. And you guessed it, it's one of my favorite colors. This one is a lime green. And as you can tell here, there are 3 strands that are going together. One has a sparkle in it, and the other 2 are fuzzy. So we've got a bit of a goldy green glitter, and the fuzz is a really nice mix there of that green. I love it. Almost chartreuse, maybe you could call that lovely green. So this one is 41 mohair, 25% silk, 8% cashmere, 3% merino, 8% lurex, and 15% polyamide. That has the most different amounts of fibers in it than all the rest. For the softness factor of this one, I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. It's pretty much on par with this blue, because I think it's that mohair that's giving a slight little itch to it. But I absolutely love it. So I got double the amount in this one. So this one cost me €22.31 for the double amount. So it is the more expensive one out of the bunch. And I'm thinking I'm probably going to work up a few of these together because I really do like the fuzzies together. So this is the citrusy green, like the lime colored one, and the turquoise, because it has bits of green in it too. And maybe for a splash of different color, I might choose this one to add into it, the mix, and edging it with the blue. I think all of those colors will look so good together. Now, they're all different thicknesses. I know some of them I've said are more sport weight, some of them are more 3 weight, and I will just see how it goes with all of these together. So what do you think? And this raspberry colored red one probably won't make the cut with these 3, but on its own will be a beautiful piece. Okay, that concludes all of my purchases that I made from Woolly. And tell me what you thought was your favorite one. Did you get drawn to a specific fiber that I showed, or was there a special color that you liked? Now, a little bit about the site. It was easy to navigate. I'll link it down below in the description box. I'm not affiliated with Woolly, and just a note, when you arrive at it, sometimes the settings are from a different language. Maybe it's in Latvian, or and if you get confused when you're looking at it that you can't read it, there is a little icon up there with the British flag, and if you click on that, all of it will be translated into English, just to make it easy for you to read. Yeah, I found it easy to navigate. I could choose how much my base yarn would be, if I wanted 100 grams, 200 grams, or 300 grams, and the prices related accordingly. They automatically, like, I guess, fixed the figure on how much you were going to be charged due to the weight or the amount that you're going to put on a spool. And the last thing that I want to tell you about is the shipping. It did cost me 13 euros to ship to Canada, and I thought that was quite a steal, considering that it was coming all the way from Europe, and I've paid a lot more for other yarns that are closer than that, but 13 euros wasn't too bad. I do have to mention as well, because we are quickly approaching Canada's Thanksgiving here, and I'm not sure when I'm going to drop this video. I did want to mention a happy Canada Thanksgiving to all my friends here in Canada who recognize and celebrate it. So I hope you enjoy your time with your family, and if you are sitting down to a nice meal together, that it is bountiful and that you enjoy each other's company. So I will be doing the hosting. Me and my hubby Chad will be putting on the wonderful spread, the dinner, and we will be with our family for a few days. So this will be a full household. I do have one other thing to talk about now that the yarn is aside, and this is also a fun topic. I would say I won a prize, and that just tops off my celebrations. About 6 to 8 weeks ago, the Olympics were on in Paris 2024, and a friend of the channel, another YouTuber, his name's Stuart from the Wool Patch. If you have not met Stuart at the Wool Patch, I'll link his channel down below in the description box. He was opening up a fun little, I guess, a guessing game of how far all these knitted Olympi hens had flown. And if you don't know what the Olympi hens were, you missed out. There was like so many crafters that were making these Olympi hens in flag colors of every nation that you could imagine. I think in the end he had something like maybe close to 80 to 100 birds that came from all different crafters that made them in flag colors, sent them over to his store in the UK. And so Stuart asked, okay, take your best guess how many miles these hens had flown. So I took a jab at it and picked a number, and when I guess the results came in, I was the closest in my category, which was the international category because I'm here in Canada, and I was offered a prize. So I was talking, emailing with Stuart, and he said, well, you can pick a pattern and I will gift you the pattern. So I went into Ravelry and added some things to my wish list, and I asked Stuart he could pick whatever one he wanted to purchase for me as the prize. And so he gave me, he purchased for me, it's a crochet publication with about half a dozen patterns, and it's from a guy with a hook, and the pattern, I guess the bundle of patterns that came in it was called Journey. And I've been looking at this for the longest time, and it has crocheted shawl pattern in it. It has squares that you could make into cushions or even bigger into blankets, and there's mosaic work in there, there's some filet, there's a wonderful rug in hexagon shapes, and I absolutely fell in love with it. There's a rainbow, post stitching that does some cabling, and it's amazing. I will be talking about that in a future video when I start working on some of these patterns, but I wanted to thank Stuart for that. And if you don't know who he is, please do go across and say hi. Yeah, so that concludes everything that's been going on with me in the last couple of 5 years. And I'm glad that you're here celebrating with me. So thank you again for your support. And I look forward to a long time being here on YouTube and continually enjoying my craft and sharing it with you and learning a little bit more about you as well. So until the next time, I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.